to me to have Brother Jeremy. Won't you come on up here, brother? Come on up. Can you see me? Come on. Yes, okay. Brother Jeremy Mosier is the son of Jerry Mosier. Brother Jerry is the pastor down at Bio de Large. And Brother Jeremy he's just got a heart for God. He's a missionary in Mexico. I'm going to let him tell all the particulars, but he's a wonderful brother. And he's got a great outlook on life. He's got some things going against you. What do they call your nerve problem? What is that?
Well, the closest thing they could come up with was CMT, which means Charcot-Marie Tooth. Really doesn't really mean anything to me and you.
But anyway, he's a great brother, and so I want you to just share your heart with the people, okay?
Awesome.
Okay. God bless you.
Absolutely. All right, I'm hooked up. Y'all can hear me good, right? Everybody hear me? All right. All right, my name is Jeremy. Before we start, I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to come and share what the Lord has allowed us to be a part of in Mexico. And it's the first time I've been to this part of Mississippi. There's so much places you don't even know exist. It's not like in Mexico. There's villages everywhere, you know. But anyway, I want to, before I start, I lost my button. There's my button. Before we get started, I want to share Friday night, before, this past Friday night, we were invited, my brother invited us to go over to eat, and so we went and ate. This is in Louisiana, down on the bayou there. And right after we ate, my wife started getting some really bad pains in her stomach and abdomen. And so it just kept getting worse and worse. By the time we got back to the church, to where we were staying at, she really literally had to crawl up the steps because she couldn't straighten up. And then she got a little better, through the night, and she was okay to drive up here Saturday morning. And then we got to Grandma's house where my dad's mother lives here in Hattiesburg. And am I too loud? Am I good? Okay. Let me turn my hearing aid down then. There we go. That's a little better for me. We got here, and I went and got a pizza because Grandma likes pizza. And so we went and got a pizza, and she had one piece of pizza, and it just got really bad again, really extremely bad pain. So we went to the immediate care, and they checked her blood, and it was her white blood cell count was high. So they sent us to Forest General, and we're there all day in the emergency room. And they finally, about 12 o'clock last night, they admitted her to the hospital. And so it's kind of an interesting situation. I wasn't really planning on staying this long in the States. I wanted to get back before August. But God kind of worked it out where I could only come to the church, to the other church in Hattiesburg this morning on the 4th. And so I ended up, staying longer. And God just, worked it out, because if we would have gone back to Mexico, last week or the week before, whatever, we wouldn't have the care that we have, not just at the hospital, but all the brothers around here in Hattiesburg to minister to us, really, in helping us with just, I don't know, prayer and everything here. And I'm excited about that. Now, I'm not excited my wife's in the hospital, but I'm excited that just the feeling to know that God is working everything out. He always does. All right. So, all right, let's get on with the story here. This is a picture of my family. My daughter Shelby, all the way to the left. She's here. Shelby and Benjamin are in the back here. Just raise your hand, and say hi. Raise your hand. Come on here. Most of they don't want to raise their hands. Anyway, they're back there. And one next to her is my wife. Of course, she's in the hospital. Can't meet her tonight. And Benjamin, one of the bottom there, he's here back there. Oh, he's not. He's right there. You snuck your way up here, huh? He's right there. And then Isaac's with my wife tonight. And that's us. Oh, yeah, I'm in there too. Hang on. My button's not, I think I didn't turn it on. There we go. This is where we live in Mexico. It's right smack in the middle about 1 hour from the geographical center of Mexico, and the state is called Zacatecas. And you don't have to try to say that, but you can't, Zacatecas. There's actually a city about an hour from there called Zacatecas, Zacatecas. So, we don't live there, thank goodness. We live in Fresnillo, where that little green dot is. That's where we live. It is Fresnillo, Zacatecas. And it takes about 21 hours from here. Kind of. I keep wanting to say things in Spanish. I've got to catch myself. All right, so let me just tell you a little bit about what we eat. But before I tell you what we eat, I'm going to tell you what you won't find in Mexico. Everybody, thinks that these are tacos. That is not a taco. I don't know who came up with a hard shell, but they don't use those in Mexico. Okay? And we definitely don't have cheddar cheese, which I wish they did, but we don't. Okay? You won't find nachos that look like that with cheese and black olives and stuff like that on them. Okay? And definitely will not find a casserole, much less a Mexican casserole. You won't find that. But you might find something that looks like this, but there's one problem with that picture. Anybody tell me what it is? The cheese. There's no cheddar cheese. I mean, they don't grate cheese on top of stuff. They do have cheese, okay, but they make a different kind of cheese. Anyway, you will find tamales. Anybody like tamales? I know I do. You love tamales. And then you'll find something that looks like this. They pile the meat on this stick thing, and there's a burner on one side, and they turn it as it cooks, and they cut some off that's cooked onto a tortilla. And they'll just, cut the meat off onto the tortilla, and they give you about 5 of those, and that's an order of tacos, okay? And you're, whoa, going too fast here, slow down. You're going to find something that looks like that or like that. Can anybody tell me what that looks like? Maybe. What's it look like? Spinach? Well, most people say green beans, but it's not green beans and it's not spinach. It is cactus. And they, I guess it's kind of a food it's a filler food. You mix it up with other stuff, right? And mix it, hold on. Mix it up with some, meat or beans, whatever. That's something that you just get accustomed to. You don't actually naturally like that stuff. But anyway, so I thought we'd just throw it on the grill. You just throw it on the grill, put some salt and pepper. I mean, not pepper. They don't do pepper. Put some salt and lemon on it, and just eat it like that. Maybe put it on a tortilla. Anyway, or you can go to Domino's and get a pizza. That's what we try to do at least once a week when they have 2 for 2, 2 for Tuesday. Anyway, that is the only American restaurant we have where we live. All right, so let me just get into some of the things some of the ministries and different things the Lord has allowed us to be a part of in Mexico. Number one is children. We give a large amount of children in Mexico, everywhere, and we get an awesome opportunity to minister to many children. One of our biggest ministries for children is Vacation Bible School. I just had that this last week, and I didn't get a total on Friday, the amount they had on the Friday. But last year on Friday, we had 464 children at a Vacation Bible School with an auditorium a little smaller than this. And 464 kids all packed in there. You can imagine, that was a bunch of them. Tuesday, which was the second day of this past week, there was 270. And so from there, it jumps up. Usually by Friday, it's over 400. So that is one of our biggest ministries as far as children goes. Here's a couple pictures of getting ready the weeks before, going out and inviting kids to Vacation Bible School. There's my kids are in there, and we're fixing to head out with a van with a speaker on top announcing about Vacation Bible School. And there's some more pictures inviting kids. All right. Here's some more pictures of us working with the kids. Me and my wife at the top there, and at the bottom, we every Saturday, apart from Vacation Bible School, every single Saturday we have a kids club, and we'll have 50 to 80 kids every single Saturday, and we have crazy music, and then a Bible story. We take turns, giving the Bible story, and then we feed the kids, and so that's one of the. I guess what brings some of the kids there is the food, because these kids, my wife was noticing this one kid who kept coming back to get more tacos, and it was like the third time he came back, and my wife Nana says, you like those tacos? You've been eating a bunch of them. I said, yeah, but I'm full. These are from my mom. We'll take these home to my mom. So anyway, we also have a mission about an hour away in a place called Canitas. And this is the pastor at the bottom there, Siverio. That is the pastor of that church. And they also have a kids club every Saturday. And about every other week or every third week, I go and help him. We have a spacewalk that we bring sometimes, or we show a film. And here's our spacewalk there. And there's Shelby, my daughter Shelby, and Siverio's wife, Maida, getting the snacks ready to watch a film. And there's the kids watching the film with Shelby and a baby in the background there. And there's Siverio, Maida, their two kids, Daniel, and I forgot the other one's name. Some weird name that I can't remember. And if I wasn't in that picture, it would be a lot better picture. But anyway, all right. So we also work with the youth. We have now. I guess that's kind of where I started in ministry and working with youth when I at my dad's church in Louisiana. And so I've actually had about this. I'm on my fourth different youth group since I was about 22, I think, 21, 22. But anyway, I didn't think I could. I still had the energy to work with youth. But God, said do it anyway. So we're working with the youth. We have anywhere from 11 years old all the way to 22. We can't get rid of them. They just stay. They just keep coming. They don't want to quit. They say, yeah, you're too old. Well, they're not married. Yeah, I guess they can still come. But anyway, here's some pictures. We like to take trips with the youth, and there's an Indian ruins. The whole mountain is a ruins from who knows how many years back. And you can hike all the way to the top of the mountain. Pretty good hike. And we took some of the kids that wanted to go, and we went all the way to the top of the mountain and had a Bible study on top of the mountain. They found one little tree that they all got under the tree, and I'm standing out there in the sun doing the Bible study. So anyway, that's pictures of that. And here's some more pictures. Whoops, going too fast here. There's more pictures of different activities with the youth. Some at our house down on the bottom left, and in that church, different places there. A couple more pictures. The youth. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Okay. Now, one of the things, one of the ministries that God has put on my heart in the last couple of years is showing films. Actually, it's not just the last couple of years. It's been on my heart for a long time. I guess since I was young, because we used to show films down on the bayou when I was little, and because that's kind of been in my heart for a long time. So God has kind of put it together the last few years, get me a projector and a sound system and things. And well, I didn't have a screen. I was just showing it up on the walls in different places sometimes. And so I said, well, if we're going to do the Jesus film and show the films in the streets and stuff, we need a screen. We need something that we can set up in the middle of the street, and so that we can invite the neighborhood, all the people in the neighborhood, to come and watch the Jesus film or whatever film we're showing. And so I decided, well, I'm going to make one. So I got some PVC pipe and made this frame for the screen. So I get it all put together, and I'm standing up there. Me and the boys, we're all excited about our screen there, and the wind's blowing, and it's like, this thing's about to break. So this is not going to work. So I showed it to a guy in our church, and he says, this is not going to work. He said, you come by my shop, and we'll make you a good solid frame, one that you can take apart and you can bring different places. So went to his shop, and that's the frame that we ended up with. And it actually has it's really a nice frame, and ropes holding it from moving. And we show the Jesus film and different films on that. That was our first showing of the Jesus film. Here's another one in the streets, and we actually had to get permits to block off the roads. And some of the roads were dirt roads, some of them were pavement, different places. All right, there's another one that me and Isaac went and showed the Jesus film, and it was a church, but it's like a garage. They turned into a church. You can see the garage door there at the bottom. And anyway, let's see. And here's another one at a rehabilitation center. The rehabilitation center, there was about 50 guys there, and we had about 8 people that got saved that night. By the way, our first showing of the Jesus film, there was 5 people that got saved, and one of them was the pastor's grandson, who was really excited to give his life to the Lord. There's all the guys from the rehabilitation center, and mysteriously Isaac was sick that day, so he came with me to show the film at the rehabilitation center. All right, another big ministry that God has allowed. I'm trying to stay on the side so y'all can kind of see better. Am I blocking anybody's view? Or is it better for me to stand? Am I good? Or I just move back and forth. A little while y'all can see, and a little while y'all can see. Anyway, one of the big ministries besides Vacation Bible School in Mexico that we do, or that God has allowed us to be a part of, is a pastors' conference every year. My pastor in Mexico has been putting on this pastors' conference for about 15 years now. And we've been able to be a part of that and putting all that together and helping with that. And so, what did I do? Okay. Now, every year we have about 50 pastors that attend, and that's not all the people that are there. We have their wives, the kids, and some other people that just show up, and end up with about 250 people for our pastors' conference every year, and we feed them breakfast, lunch, dinner in 4 days long. But it is a blessing, and it's an awesome blessing to be able to encourage the pastors, lift up their spirits so that they can go back out and continue serving God, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ to a dark and lost Mexico, dark and lost world. And so it is a blessing to us to be able to be in that service. And I've never actually been, before I share about that, let me just show you one thing. Every year we try to give, we don't try, we do. Every year we give a box of Bibles to every pastor that comes to our pastors' conference. And this year and last year, the people that normally bring the Bibles and literature and stuff to us says, we're not coming to Mexico anymore. We're not coming. He said, we'll bring them to the border, but we're not coming into Mexico anymore because of all the different problems that we've been having throughout Mexico. And so I just, God put in my heart, said, that's what you need to do that. So you go to the border and get them. So we went, took about 3 trips, and we went and got all the Bibles and different literature tracts and different things to give to the pastors, all the pastors that came to our conference. There's me and my boys, Benjamin on the left and Isaac on the right there, helping me get Bibles off the top of a Suburban to give out to the pastors. They're going to be handing some Bibles, a box of Bibles to some of the different pastors. We gave away 1,200 Bibles at our pastors' conference this past February. Okay, so I was saying a minute ago that I haven't until now been a part of speaking at the conference. But a couple weeks before the conference, the pastors' conference, I told my pastor, I said, I feel like God wants me to speak at the conference. And I never heard anything else about it until the last day of the conference, about 10 o'clock in the morning, my pastor, Brother Ociel, calls me and he says, you're speaking tonight. Okay. All right. How long do I have? Whatever. But it was just you and another guy preaching tonight. So anyway, the Lord gave me the awesome, privilege to share, to get in front of 50 pastors plus all the other people, 250 people there the last night, and encourage them to keep it on. And these pastors are from all over Mexico. We have some that come from 10, 12 hours away that come to this conference, and they're not, they don't have. This is not a job for them. This is they're poor. They're poor. They don't have even a little bit that we have, and so they're to be able to even come to this conference. It's a big thing for them. They have to save up money for so long just to come to the conference, And so, not that we charge for it, just to get there. Of course, we don't charge. We feed them, and that's one thing they love, the food. But anyway, the last night I got to speak at the conference, and from that I got some other opportunities to go and invitations to go and speak in different places in Mexico. And one of the places that I went to was called Toluca, and it's about 7 hours further south from where we are. There was a pastor there, and he put together about I think it was about 7 different places that we went to. I went and preached and showed films in all over that state, all over the state of Mexico. There's actually a state called Mexico. But anyway, the first day we went to a village up in the mountains, about 6. I think it was about 6 hours. There were just some more pictures. Yeah. It was a village about 6 hours from Toluca, and way up in the mountains. The people there, I asked a few of them if they ever seen, a movie or on a big screen, and most of them had not. In fact, I think all of them had not ever seen a movie on a big screen. So we went. This my father-in-law came with me at the top there, and we found out there was a plaza right in the middle of the village. It doesn't look like a village there, but there's a plaza right in the middle of the village, and we set up the screen and the projector right there in the middle of the village, and had several people that got saved that night. And there's no pastor in this village, but the pastor that put this together is planning to return. He wants to go once a month and continue to work there. So that's awesome stuff. And I wanted to show you something. Now the picture at the bottom, it's kind of hard to tell what it is, but there's 4 trees, little post things, and they're wrapped around. Wrapped around those posts is kind of looks like political tarps, and then there right on the right hand side there's like a blanket for a curtain over the door there, and then you go in there. That's the shower, and it wasn't set up for us. That's what they use all the time, right? And so you just pull a cord, and the water comes out of a pipe. And, cold water. And it was freezing cold water. But anyway, in the top right-hand corner there's a picture. You can't really tell what that is either. But behind that curtain is a toilet. And it's actually a real toilet. It's kind of like an outhouse, kind of deal. But they had a real toilet there, and it didn't have a seat on it. You had to dip water out of the barrel right there to flush the toilet. And what was funny to me was right beside the toilet there was 4 bins. And that was where the chickens laid their eggs. I thought that was pretty funny. And I'm looking over there's like 2 eggs in this one and 1 egg in that one. I'm like, this is interesting. Anyway, and I actually slept in a hammock that night. The little rooms that we were going to sleep in were very hot. And I said, I'm sleeping in this hammock tonight. So I slept in the hammock that night. And in the middle of the night, there was a donkey that started fighting with this dog. I'm not going to try to make the noise they were making, but it was pretty disturbing. It was pitch dark in the middle of the night. I didn't know if he was on the other side of the fence or on my side. But anyway, there's just some more pictures of our trips, going to different churches. Here's another one. There's another one. We actually have a place called Tabasco, Zacatecas. And actually came from the state, that name of that came from the state of Zacatecas, which is where the original peppers came from for the Tabasco sauce that we have made there in Louisiana. But anyway, this pastor, Brother Tito, which means Titus in English, him and his church take care of all the children's classes during our pastors' conference. So all the kids of the pastors that come, they take care of all the children's classes. So they invited me to come and speak at their church. Those are some pictures of people in the church there. All right, just a few more. I forgot to look at the time when we started. I have no idea just tell them I got 5 minutes left. All right. There's a few more pictures. Here's some of me and my wife. And she's not here. You get to see her just a little bit more. My beautiful wife. And let's see, the one on the bottom left is Benjamin and my wife. The one on the right bottom, I think one of the kids making a funny face there. But me and my wife, the blessing in my life. Here's some pictures of me and my kids. Me and Shelby at the top left. We're at a youth event thing that we were doing. And me and Isaac at the right, he's fixing to go to his soccer game. Him and Benjamin both play soccer in Mexico, and Isaac is the goalie. And so he's fixing to go off to play. And then me and Benjamin there at the bottom made me this shirt. It was Father's Day. And the shirt says Super Papi. You probably can't see it, but it says Super Papi. Papi means daddy in Spanish. And so, anyway, I got a picture of that. All right, this is my pastor, Brother Ociel. I don't think anybody here has ever met. You haven't met him, huh? Okay. Up at the top left, that's me and my pastor, Brother Ociel. Me and Isaac went on a mission trip to build a room onto my pastor's sister's house for their mother, who has both legs amputated. So anyway, and here's another ministry that we both get invited to go speak in different places, and so when he's gone, I try to be at the church in Mexico. When I'm gone, he tries to be there. Well, we both got invited to go to Missouri, in the United States, all the way to Missouri to speak last September. And so we went up there. We were there for 3 or 4 days speaking at this conference. And on our way back down, we stopped here in Hattiesburg, and we met with a few brothers. That's them right there in the bottom left. Some guys at Community Bible Church. Anyway, and then from there we went down to Louisiana and spent a day and a half with my mom and my dad. And that day my mom came to town with us to buy a couple presents for, I think, Benjamin and my wife's birthday was coming up. And she came with us and bought some presents. So she was feeling well enough to do that day. You don't know my mother. A month after this, exactly a month after this, she went to be with the Lord. I got to see my mom one last time, 1 month before she passed away. There's a picture of my mom on the left-hand side. I have not had a greater privilege in my life than being able to share the gospel of Jesus Christ at my mother's funeral. She had been sick for 20 years and never denied Christ. All these years of pain and suffering from a tumor in her brainstem, on her brainstem there, that they removed, and they had to put bars and plates. They had to fuse her vertebrae, and it was very painful for her. That she never neglected Jesus Christ. She used her weakness to serve God. She would have Bible studies at their house, and the ladies from the church would come, and they would have Bible studies right there at the house because she couldn't get out to go and have a Bible study at the church, which was only 2 houses down, right? There were the night. The day of the wake for my mom's funeral, my dad calls me and he says, "Are you going to speak tonight?" And I had told him that he asked me before, whenever we were planning the funeral and everything, he asked me if I was going to want to say anything, or he said, "Are you going to be able to say anything?" or something like that. And I said, "I don't think Mama would want any less than share the gospel at her funeral." And so, the day of the wake, Daddy calls me up and said, "Are you going to, say anything tonight?" I said, "Of course. How long do I have?" I always ask that. It doesn't matter because I don't look at the watch anyway. But I asked him, how long do I have? He said, "You're the only one speaking. So we're going to do music, and then it's your turn." And I said, "Okay, awesome." So I got busy looking at some scriptures and seeing what God wanted me to share. And that night there was about 300 people there. At the funeral the next day there was about 500 people. My mother had left an impression on many lives in her through her suffering and pain that she went through. So it was one of the major privileges in my life to be able to share Jesus Christ with about 300 people, and a good many of them did not know Christ. So anyway, let me just... I want to share with you. My mom highlighted in my Bible Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. You probably know that. To trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. She highlighted that in my Bible, and that was her favorite verse. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Don't depend on your own ability. Don't depend on your own thoughts. Don't depend on your own ideas. But trust God in everything, and He will make your path straight. And so that was a very special verse to me. There's another verse that I want to share. It goes like this: For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. And one of the things people ask me about, isn't it dangerous down there in Mexico? Isn't it dangerous? I said, well, I guess it can be. I guess it is. But let me tell you, the most dangerous place that you can possibly be in the whole world or anywhere, or whatever, is out of the will of God. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're out of the will of God, you are in the most dangerous place that you could possibly be. So I don't want to say things in Spanish. Turn that around, I guess you could say. The best place, the safest place you could possibly be is in the will of God. So as long as I know that God wants me to be in Mexico, that's where I'm going to be. It doesn't matter, if troubles may come. It doesn't matter. Paul is saying, if I die, good, I'll be in heaven. If I live, as long as I'm living, my life is for Christ. But if I die, that was God's will. And so I got a saying here that was from a missionary back in the 50s. His name was Jim Elliot. Most of you have heard of Jim Elliot. Him and four other missionaries were killed by the Auca Indians in Ecuador. And he had a saying that goes like this: He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. Let me read that again. I kind of have to read it a couple times to really grasp it. That he is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. What can you give that you cannot keep? What do you have that you can give that you can't keep? Your life. You have your life. You can't keep it. It will pass away eventually, or unless Jesus comes back first. You can't keep it, but you can give. You can give everything you are, everything you have, for Christ. Let's see. Then it says, what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. By giving what you cannot keep, you gain what you cannot lose. What is it that you can gain that you can't lose? Eternal life. We gain eternal life. And God's not going to take that away from us. We gain eternal life by giving what we can't keep. We gain what we can't lose. And Jim Elliot gave his life. He gave his life, and four other missionaries gave his life to bring the gospel to a group of Indians who had never been out of the jungle. I mean, they definitely never heard of Jesus before. Nobody else even knew their language. They didn't have the Bible in their language for sure. No Wycliffe translators there, right? Anyway, that story of Jim Elliot has been a part of my life ever since the Lord has called me to be a missionary. All right. Okay, let me just ask real quick. How much time do I have? How much? 5 minutes. Okay, real quick. I want to share just a short bit about my disability. I'm going to talk about everybody's disability, although I want everybody to know that if you don't know what your disability is, then you need to find out. Okay, and I'm going to explain that. Okay, I have a disability. It's a nerve disease called Charcot-Marie-Tooth, like what we were talking about, which is 3 doctors that diagnose it. Really doesn't mean anything. And I have a tremor, and there's a lot of things that I can't do, which most people can do very easily. And usually I'll get some volunteers to come up and we'll have everybody drink some water. Drink a glass of water, and then do it a few times. That's so easy. You know, but if I grab a glass of water and try to drink it, it's probably not even going to make it to my mouth. If it does, I'll probably break my teeth on the glass, but because of my trimmer. So I use a straw, you know. And I can't write like everybody else can write. Just a simple thing that everybody can do. I can't do that because of my trimmer. And another thing, let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, I was, the illustration of taking the glasses off and on. You know, we take the glasses off and on like nothing. You don't even think about it. I need to take them off, I take them off. I put them on, right? Well, to me, that's a little more difficult, you know, trying to get my glasses on, you know, because of my trimmer. I thought it was thundering outside. So, you know, sometimes I actually end up breaking my glasses or cutting my nose with the edges of the little things in the middle there. Because and I have to put them on to be able to read because I can't see very good. That's another part of the nerve disease. Is I had cataract surgeries about, I don't even know how many years ago, but I had cataract in my eyes, and then my hearing is pretty bad. That's part of the nerve disease. So I got a bunch of things to say that I have a disability, but you know, when I was about 16 is when I first started seeing that I wasn't going to be able to pick up a glass of water and drink it like everybody else, or I wasn't going to be able to write a letter, or handwrite letter like everybody else could, or I wasn't going to be able to do a lot of things that everybody else could do. You know, I was having a lot of pain in my joints, having pain in my tailbone and my knees, and my shoulders. And I you know, I kind of got mad at God about it, you know, and for a while. And then I said, God, look, just take this thing away from me, and I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just take it away. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And He gave me this verse, and I want to read it real quick, and then I got a short story I want to tell. Okay, it says, because of these surpassingly great revelations, therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, and I need to press the button. But He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. I'm going to stop right there. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. If God's power is made perfect in weakness, then we need to find that weakness so that God's power can be strong in our life, can be great in our life. And we need to say, you know, a lot of times we say, oh, I can't do that. I got this disability. I can't do that. Is that, well, you take the thing you think you can't do and give it to God, and He's the one that is enable you to do that. And you know, there's so many things in our life that we say, you know, I'm not doing that. God, give this job to somebody else. I can't do that. I have this disability. I have this that I can't. And God said, God keeps putting on your heart that you do it. You do it. You do it. It's like working with the youth now. God kept telling me, you do it. You do it. And I had this pain in my hip, and I said, God, I don't have the energy anymore to work with youth. And as soon as I started working with the youth, the pain started going away. And so, you know, we need to find the weaknesses in our life so that we can find those and see how God wants to work through those weaknesses to glorify Him, to see other people come to know Jesus Christ. Okay, that's a very short version of that. I want to share a couple more things. Oh, wait. Oh, we didn't finish reading. Let's just finish reading this and we'll move on. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness so that Christ's power may rest on me. Definitely go back and read over this, okay? One more verse. Verse 10, it says, that is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insult, in hardship, in persecution, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Or when I am weak, then I am strong. Can we grasp that? Can we grasp that you know, we need to let our weakness, you know, let God, you know, work through our weakness, because when we do, then we're strong. Then we're mighty for God. That's when we become mighty for God, when we allow Him to work through our disabilities, our weakness. Okay, so what I want to do now, whoops, we'll just go back to that beautiful picture of my wife. No, I didn't say me. Beautiful picture of my wife and my kids. What I want to do now is share with you how God protects us. Now we talked about a little bit about that, about how God has watched over us in Mexico, watched over and protected us in Mexico. And I just want to share a little bit about an occasion where I can say that I know God was right smack in the middle of our situation, protecting us, watching over us, and just guiding us without any problems. Check this out. We're headed out of Fresnillo. Now, to go back north out of Fresnillo, you have to go through several villages like that, something like that. Yeah. And then you go a long way, and you go under an overpass, and you get on the highway and head north. Okay? Well, is that me? Okay. Well, we left before daylight. And we get to this overpass. We're going under the overpass about 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was still dark. And when we got there, there were two trucks that looked like police trucks, and they were loaded down with guys with their rifles and guns. So when we got there, this one guy, I thought they were police, but they weren't. They were what most people here would call cartel. And they're actually a group of like a mafia group. It was called the Zetas. And these guys, there was about 15 guys there, at least. About 12 to 15 guys, somewhere around there. And this one guy is just hollering at us to get out of the truck. He said, "Everybody get out." And it's myself, my pastor, Brother Ociel, my wife in the back of me, and then two other people, my pastor's mother-in-law and sister-in-law, all in my Suburban. And he's taller than I did. I locked the doors. And I roll the windows down. We roll the windows down, and they're still hollering at us and asking, "Where are y'all going?" And of course in Spanish, but where are y'all going? And who are you? And just all kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, somebody in the second truck over hollers at him and says, "Leave him alone and let him go." And the guy turns around, had blood on his back. Guy turns around and walks off, and I take off. And obviously they had been fighting already that morning. The guy had blood on his back. And get down the road, and I don't know if it was just the peace of God, just gave me a peace that just went through the whole thing without getting all, scared about him or whatever, going crazy or whatever. But we stopped a little ways up, and at a gas station. It was a good ways up, a good ways up, and just thank God. We prayed and we thanked God that He allowed us to escape, if you will, from the hand of the evil one. And so we know that God is always watching over. Most of the time we don't even see it. Most of the time you don't see when God is watching over you. It just happens, and you don't even realize it. But sometimes He allows us to see things or almost an accident or this or that. But one thing we know for sure, that God is always there. He's always there to protect us. He's always there watching over us. So what I definitely want everybody to remember tonight is that we need to find our disability, and so we can allow God to be powerful in that disability, and to know that God is always there watching over us. It's my privilege to be here. Thank you guys so much. I've got some information for you at the back. We've got some prayer cards, so you guys can be praying for us and kind of see what we look like. And just a little card you can fill out. I do send out a newsletter through email. If you have email, you can fill that out, and just a thank you letter from me. So in my email newsletter, I don't get to say everything that happens, okay? Because you can't put stuff on the internet about drug cartels and mafia groups and stuff like that. So just know that things do happen, and God is watching over us. Any questions? Very good. Okay.